So that's doing the stitch. A little bit more on the side of the practical application and execution of the caterpillar stitch. This is the book that I made with caterpillar stitch. These are the leaves that I was telling you about. Because the head is so close to where you start, I couldn't start at the end and go all the way across, or else you couldn't get this nice leafy fan. So I had to do the leaves separately, starting where the stem is, and then I did a separate caterpillar to go across the spine. And there's the other side with the leaves, and the fan is on this side because this is the back, and if they overlap a little bit more, that's okay. So this is my first one. It's still pretty good, but it is looser. It doesn't hold them as tight. This one is the second one that I did. It's where I get my most structure because the cord is tight against the signatures, and my third one, the middle one, is a bit raised away from the signatures. I don't even know if you can see that. Probably not, but I think it's just because it's going more across the book boards than being close to the signatures. So preparing the covers for this stitch, I would do it differently than I did. What I did is I did my outside cover and my inside cover before I made my holes, before I made my stitch. It was the first time I've ever done it, but this is my experience, that doing that, you end up having all this inside work visible. And it could be nice, it could be part of your design, but I wasn't planning on it, because I didn't know what the inside would look like, and I wasn't thinking about that as much. So what I would do, if you don't want that to be part of your design, if you're not thinking about that consciously, I would cover the outside and actually leave it open. Don't glue it down on the inside yet even. So you can make all of your holes for all of your caterpillars, and that you can do all the stitching. So you'll have your holes and these bars on the inside, and then you can put your end paper, then you can glue down your sides, and then you can put down your end paper, and then that will be more covered up. Because these bumps are raised, I guess you could sand those down if your book board's exposed before you start sewing. I would do that. Once you punch your holes, sand down the raised part of the hole. So I went in on this side, so it's nice and flat. This is the part that poked out. I would sand down all that. And then once you've sewn, you'll still have these. You could put a piece of Mohawk or just scrap paper underneath, on top, after you've put down, well, I guess the order would be up to you. I would put it down before you fold down your edges, so that once you've kind of covered up that roughness and those bumps, then you can fold over and glue down your edges from your cover paper, and then you can put down your end paper, and then you just have this beautiful flat inside of your cover and your beautiful caterpillar outside, and it'll be really nice. It has the effect of opening very flat, like the Coptic, because it's an exposed stitch, exposed spine stitch. One just little reminder about having a pattern for your holes. I made a pattern, kind of a template out of paper, and I measured it out. And if it's not perfectly symmetrical, actually this is my friend, if it's not perfectly symmetrical, so if I have it on this side and I just flipped it over to put it on this side, my leaves were just a little bit off. So they weren't exactly the same. So as you look up here, this board sticks out more than this board, and vice versa on this side, because I flipped it and my leaves were a little bit off. So just keep that in mind and make sure that it's the same on both sides so that your holes line up for your spine and everything. And that is the caterpillar stitch. You can do it.